So in Arizona, some protesters showed up at a mosque armed because of them suspecting that, other people were going to show up armed and there could be a shootout. And this usually goes over semi-well because they're not really bullying anyone, they're just off doing their own thing. But when you're showing up to a mosque, flaunting guns around, it's usually not taken as a sign of defense because you're the one showing up there, and you're not really protesting anything because it was just an average day at an average mosque. It wasn't like this mosque has been committed, or this mosque has been known for terrorists showing up there. Now, I'm a conservative Christian. If you look at my channel and my Twitter account, you'll see I am very far right, but I'm always dealing with people who are really anti-Muslim because they're also all far right too, and it has to do with patriotism. Like back during World War II, we were persecuting Japanese because our enemy was the Japanese, and it's really worrying that apparently the government can lock anyone up if they're a supposed threat to society. And this is when our rights start getting taken away, because if you're not willing to stand up for the person you disagree with on some things, eventually it's going to come back and attack you. If you persecute Islam or want to regulate the Quran, it's going to come back when people start saying, well, this part in the Bible's kind of offensive. Maybe you shouldn't be allowed to preach it. Anyways, it all comes back to people thinking the term Islamic terrorism, it means terrorism defines all of Islam. I always thought we were defining the terrorist because they were saying their cause was for Islam as Islamic terrorists. Not that all terrorists claim they're Muslim, but not all Muslims are terrorists. So we're like all Westboro Baptists say they're Christian, but not all Christians say they're Westboro Baptist. The sad thing is, I'm the minority in this group. For some reason, the right wing really, really, really despises Islam, or at least it seems like a lot of people on my side do that. Another thing that's really annoyed me is when these people say we should deport Muslims. Where the heck are we supposed to deport them to? They're a religion, not a race. They didn't come here from another, or a lot of them did come here from like other countries like Pakistan, but a lot of them are just Americans that have been here for like 2 or 3 generations and became Muslim. Also, when I'm using the term a lot, it really isn't a big percentage considering less than like 1% of America is Muslim. I believe there's more Buddhists in America than Muslims, if that gives you any range of how many there are here. Now, the biggest way to just disprove that all Muslims are supposedly terrorists is because ISIS and the Al-Qaeda, they kill Muslims in the Middle East. That's what they're primarily doing. And you'll see on my side, yes, this offends me too, that the media apparently doesn't pick up when Christians are being beheaded, but my side always likes to bring that out on media. Like, how come you're not bringing up this group of Christians who were just slaughtered in the supposed name of Islam? But then also, I am quite annoyed when people start using that and saying that, how can Islam be a religion of peace when you allowed, or when they allowed all these Christians to be killed? Well, also, how can you say all of Islam is terrorists when they just executed 500 Muslims? And yes, I'm a conservative Christian. I disagree with Islam because I'm a Christian, I believe Jesus is the Messiah. They believe Jesus is a prophet. I can disagree. I also might even, or we can also disagree that they're interpreting the Quran wrong even. But you can't say that all Muslims are the same, or all Muslims are going to be violent, or all Muslims want violent people to kill you. There's Christian anarchists, so I'm pretty sure there can be Muslims who can support democracy. Even if it goes against what we believe their text says, it doesn't mean that we should be able to judge and then persecute them. We have religious freedom in this country. If people want to worship peacefully, they can worship peacefully. and everyone has the right to defend themselves. Now, what happened at this mosque is extremely, extremely disgraceful to not just the Second Amendment community, but all of America, because what just happened there will be used by all the British politicians who come over here and harass us for having guns, because they'll be like, look at these bigots who are waving their guns around in front of a mosque. By the way, that's the liberal word number one, bigot. For some reason, they're addicted to that word. Anyways, back to the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is for defense, and you might say, what? People might first be taken back by that, but it is. It's for defense. It's for defense from any aggressor, from a foreign government invading us, from our own government trying to persecute a group of people, from someone trying to break into your home. It's a defense against anything. It's even the ultimate check and balances, because if the government tries to throw away with the Constitution, we have the ability to bring it back. But these people, they were not using the Second Amendment as a defense. They are using it as a defense when they're at a contest, because they're worried, Muslim extremists might come in and start shooting at us. But when you show up to a mosque armed, you're not there, or they're not there as a defense. It seems almost either as you're pressing them to fire back, or you're there just to bully them. Like, haha, I'm armed, you can't do anything about it. And you're not even getting the enemy straight. ISIS would love for America to persecute Muslims, because that's what they're doing over there. They're also persecuting Muslims, not just Christians. And if America is taking out the peaceful denominations of Islam in America, terrorists want that, because that's just one less job they have to do when they try to take over America. Which obviously they're not too good at that, because when they do try to attack America, we do kill them pretty dang fast. But we shouldn't let them use our system for them to be able to persecute us by us persecuting ourselves, in a way. If you persecute peaceful Muslims because of terrorist actions, it will ultimately come back when the left tries to persecute Christians, and then before you know it, you have all these regulations on religion without terrorists having to do anything. So yes, I just wanted to get this video out there saying that I am a Second Amendment supporter, and I also support Muslims going out and getting themselves armed. Any American citizen deserves to have the right to defend themselves, and especially the Muslim community should definitely be armed and prepared, because if terrorists invade over here, peaceful Muslims aren't going to be safe. They're going to be rounded up and killed just like they are in the Middle East. And if groups of supposed Christians are harassing them, they should also be able to defend themselves. Because if someone fired a shot and then everyone started firing, they would have had no defense. We need people like the Oath Keepers to step in between and stop people from shooting each other. Like at Bundy Ranch, that was the perfect example of defense, because if we didn't have militiamen defending the protesters, who knows how many people could have been hurt. But no one wanted to fire that first shot because each side was then armed. But then when one side is using that to bully the other side, it's all mixed up. So yes, I am promoting the peaceful side of Islam to be armed, for the same reason that the peaceful side of Christianity is armed to defend themselves from any form of tyranny. This is America, when all religions can get together and coexist, but also all of them can be armed, and all of them can have the same general virtues of freedom. Now, if you disagree with that, sure, leave the country, but you still have the right to be, or they still have the right to be here, and if you go after them, then the other political side will be able to come after us, and it's just even worse than if you just left things alone. Yeah, that was sort of my rant on this, because I was very, very much pissed off at seeing these supposedly pro-Second Amendment people using the Second Amendment to bully other people because they knew more than likely they would be disarmed. Either that, or you know what, they did bring the guns because they thought they would be attacked, but that just shows how ignorant they are, because obviously at that mosque they weren't going to be attacked because ISIS isn't going to be hanging out in plain sight in a mosque. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope I made some sort of logical sense. I'm not really good at talking, but I thought I would give this a go because this is a topic that really needs to be talked about more, and especially on my side of things, because it is really annoying seeing people who supposedly support the Constitution yet will persecute another religion and not see the repercussions of it. Thanks for watching. To the Muslims out there, I will defend all US citizens, including you, so just know there are people out there who are willing to defend you, and if you believe you can defend yourself according to your religion, please go out and arm yourselves, because obviously terrorists are going to be armed, and if things get out of hand, you should be armed too. That goes for any of us out there, really. And to the terrorists out there, screw you.